so supreme. I give my life, not for honor, but for you.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another movie review. It's been a while. I haven't done a review since Justice League, and that was about like an hour 15. Don't worry, it's not going to be that long. It's probably going to be like 20 minutes, something like that. But with that being said, let's get into this. So I'm reviewing Venom, Let There Be Carnage. So I was kind of excited for this movie. You know, I love Venom, and, you know, Carnage is a great villain. So to see him finally on the big screen, I was like, oh man, we're gonna do the Venom versus Carnage fight. And then they made the movie PG-13, and then I was like, ugh, I kind of wanted to see some more violence with Carnage. So that was probably my first disappointment before the movie came out. And then they put out a scene before the movie came out, the prison scene. So this is not a spoiler. This is public. So PlayStation, of all people, put out a scene of like the prison scene where he breaks out of the prison. And when I saw that scene, that's when doubt started to set in. That's when I started to think, this should have been rated R. I think this would have been better if we had some, you know, more gruesomeness with Carnage here. So that's when my doubts started to set in. But then I saw the movie. I saw this movie like Friday night, and oh my God. All my expectations flew out the window about like halfway into the movie. So I bet some of you guys are probably going to sit there and think, oh, Mike's probably going to sit there and be like, oh, the movie was good, or it was okay, but it had some problems or whatever, blah, blah, blah. No. This movie was bad. This movie sucked. I hate this movie. I hate what they do to Carnage. Sony ruined Venom, and now they ruined Carnage. Now, if you want to know what I mean, you're going to have to stay for the spoiler section, because it is a big deal. Like people think it's not a big deal. No, it's a big deal. So, yeah, no, this movie's bad. This movie's terrible. Don't watch this movie. Do not go out and see it. It is a waste of money. It's a waste of your fucking time, and it is a spit in the face of comic book readers like myself. So, let's get into this, shall we? So, the pace. I remember a lot of early reviewers coming out and saying, oh, the pacing, you know, matches the movie, or the pacing is okay for what the movie's trying to do, or whatever, blah, blah, blah. No. They're lying to you. They only probably said that because they're probably sitting next to Tom Hardy and fucking Andy Serkis, the director, who should not have directed this movie, by the way. And they're like, they want to say all those things because they want to be nice, okay? The reality is that the pacing of this movie ruins the movie. It ruins the movie because you go from the beginning of the movie, and you go all the way to the end. There's no time to really relax. There's a few instances where you can relax, but you can't relax. It is ridiculous. So it also doesn't help that this movie is short. It clocked in at an hour and 30 minutes. The first movie was 2 hours. You needed probably an extra... This movie should have had an extra like 30 minutes to explain things more, or to maybe have some more action scenes or something. So, yeah. So, and again, this movie should have been rated R. You should have seen Carnage, you ripping and tearing innocent people. You don't get that in this movie. Another thing that I hate about this movie is that you don't even really get Venom versus Carnage until literally the very, very end of the movie. So the whole movie is everyone just kind of fucking around. And it's just really fucking awkward and stupid bullshit. And again, I'll explain more when I get to the spoiler section. But again, the pacing, the length of the movie does not fucking help. The fact that it's rated PG-13 instead of rated R does not fucking help. And then, like, the only, like, okay thing or good thing I could say is that the cast overall is okay. I mean, it's the same people from the last movie, more or less, just with a few new ones. And they did okay with a few instances of things being weird or things not really making sense or whatever. So I'm going to go ahead then and jump into spoilers. So if you don't want to be spoiled, you can jump all the way to the end and just kind of see my rating. But for those of you, I recommend you stay because I need to explain to you all of the problems with this piece of shit of a movie. Because there are too many problems. Like I said, Sony ruined Carnage. Carnage never says I in the movie. He never says I. That is one of the biggest key differences between Venom and Carnage. Venom never really had the closest bond with Eddie, which is why they always say we instead of I. Carnage is so fucking crazy, and so is Carnage, that they're symbiotic. They're one. They're what that guy was talking about in the first Venom movie. They're symbiotic. They're one. That's why he would say I, because they're not two different entities thinking different things. They're one person thinking the same thing. That is why he was such a dangerous villain for not just Spider-Man, but for Venom too. That's why these two had to team up in the Lethal Protector comic. And again, it's even more disrespectful because, you know, like Carnage, like the first time that Venom and Carnage meet is at the very end of this movie. And not only does Venom win, but then he eats Carnage. He eats Carnage, and then he eats Cletus. So Carnage is dead. He doesn't exist anymore. So you're not going to get Toxin, who is the spawn of Carnage, who kind of becomes like a good guy. You're never going to get anything like that. You're not going to get a symbiote like that. Like, I have never seen a cut off, like, this is not how you expand your universe. It's not how you expand your universe. And I think they know this, especially with the end credits scene. It's really, really bizarre. So, and I'll get to that at the very end, but let's keep going. Like I said, Carnage character ruined. He never says I. You always see them kind of fighting. Well, they're not bickering, but you can clearly see that Carnage and Cletus, they're not acting the way they're supposed to. Carnage and Cletus are supposed to be one, and they're not acting like that. And that's a completely different character. That's not Carnage at that point. That's not the Carnage that we all know. So that's why it's really disrespectful when at the very beginning of this movie, you're doing a good job, right? You're explaining Cletus's background story and all that stuff to us, to the audience, and it was cool because in my head, every time, you know, as they were talking, I could see the pictures, the panels in my mind of all this, you know, evil shit that Cletus has done as a kid, but then for some reason, it's like they wanted to turn around and hit me in the nuts and be like, haha, gotcha. And then it's like, no, Carnage and Cletus are not saying I. They're not getting along. They're not acting the way they're supposed to. And I think I know why. Because otherwise Venom would not have won. Venom would not have won the fight. And clearly he would not have won the fight. Again, it took Spider-Man and Venom to defeat this creature. And even when they fought together, they still almost were no match for him. Again, you gotta think about power scalings. The power scaling in this movie does not match how it should be in the comics. Like, at all. It is just doing what it wants. Andy Serkis clearly didn't fucking care. He just did what he wanted. He didn't actually think about what he was doing, especially at the end of this movie. I think when we got to the end of this movie, I think that's when things really just keep going downhill from there. Like, I would say like halfway through the movies when things start going downhill. Shriek's boring. Shriek came and gone. Shriek, she dies in this movie after she inevitably turns on Carnage and Cletus. They were gonna get married or whatever in this movie. They're crazy or whatever, and which is fine. They're supposed to be crazy and they're supposed to love each other and all that shit. But the movie does this thing where Carnage gets pissed at her because her shrieking ability made, you know, him go nuts, and Carnage threatens her. And then I'm sitting there, I'm thinking to myself, well, this is clearly gonna go one way, isn't it? And it does. It goes exactly the way you think it does. And then, you know, she turns on Carnage, and then again, Venom got lucky. That's the only way that he won that fight. That's how ridiculous it was. Really, really lazy. Really, really lazy writing, clearly. There was a really, really, really annoying part in this movie that really, really annoyed me. And it was the part where Venom is at this party. So Venom and Eddie end up having this fight. They end up having this fight because Venom wants to go eat bad guys, right? And Eddie Brock's so busy with work and stuff that he doesn't want to make time for any of that. I'm assuming. But you'd think with an alien parasite inside of your body, you'd be like, okay, let me have a schedule so that, you know, I can be Venom and go eat bad guys' heads off while also being able to come home and, like, you know, do my thing. There's no excuse why Venom was starving. So you have all these weird, funny scenes where Venom is complaining that he wants to go eat people because he's hungry or whatever. Because Eddie keeps giving him, like, chickens and, like, fucking chocolate. And it's like, okay, you never see him eat chocolate in this movie, by the way, which I thought was stupid. That was a missed opportunity. And then they get in this fight, and then Venom starts acting like a woman, like you know. Then they start, like, fighting like an old married couple, and it was just very cringy to watch. And then, like, Venom's like, "Peace out, brother," and then he just jumps out the fucking window, and, like, he starts latching on to, like, to innocent people. And correct me if I'm wrong, if anyone saw the movie, but I'm pretty sure that he was killing people. The lethal protector was killing people. Do you know how stupid that is? It's just like one person, just oop dead, oop dead, oop dead. Like, you're taking control of a host. You'd think that, I don't know, you'd, like, transform into Venom and you go bite off heads of bad guys or something. No, he doesn't do that. Instead, he goes to this fucking party with all these stupid, weird people. I don't know what the fuck it was. And he starts, like, bitching with a microphone on a stage about Eddie and shit. And then people are like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? And it's just this, it's cringy, it's stupid, it doesn't make any sense, it's out of character, it completely goes against why Venom's pissed off. And again, it's really stupid. It's just really, really bad. It did not need to be there. It doesn't make any sense. And like I said, Venom acts like a woman in this movie. He's like bitching all the time. They're constantly fighting with Eddie. They don't even get they're like bonded at the beginning of the movie, but about like halfway through the movie, near the end, Venom fucks off and he's doing other shit. And then he eventually gets to the Asian lady, and then he latches on her, and then Anne has to come get the symbiote or Venom, because Eddie's in prison or in jail now because they think that he's linked to Carnage somehow, because Carnage is going out and causing carnage, but it's not as much as you think, really, but whatever. So, and then we got this very awkward scene of, like, Anne, like, almost, like, hitting on, like, Venom in this really weird sexual way, where she's like, oh, you're just a big, strong, symbiote, blah, 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 and all that stuff. And she's like, it's it's now, if I'm correct, it's like basically like when a woman is trying to like, you know, motivate a guy because she's trying to, and she's like starts telling all of the things that, you know, he wants to hear. Like she's just telling all the things that he wants to hear. And I'm just sitting there, I'm like, this is so weird. What's next? What is this, going to become a porno? She's going to just blow his big black symbiote dick right there in front of cuckold Dan? Like, what the fuck is happening? I was like, what the fuck is happening in this scene? What the fuck is happening? Like, what is this shit? It was just this very awkward fucking scene with her. And then she finally gets back, and then you see She-Venom again. And then, again, it's just... Then it becomes copy fucking paste. Then She-Venom brings the Venom symbiote back to Eddie. And then you have this very weird scene where instead they don't kiss, they end up hugging because Dan's right there. It's like, and then the movie just goes, and then gets to the church, and then you finally have the fight scene, and that's the only part of the movie I feel like is probably the longest in the movie. And then everything else is just go, really, really fast. So, yeah, man, I don't fucking understand. And then there's a scene where, like, Carnage is trying to find Shriek. He, like, finds this computer in this fucking gas station. He, like, breaks into this gas station, beats up this fucking gas station guy, or the guy running at the cash register, finds this computer and, like, hacks into it with the symbiote. He, like, takes his symbiote fingers and they just go, like, into the computer. And then he starts, like, going onto this secret government prison facility information. And where the fuck did you get a username and password from? What the fuck? Like, that scene, that doesn't make any sense. Carnage / Venom does not have the ability to do that. That you can't... What the fuck are you doing? Like, he can't do that. He can't do that. What are you doing? And how is he doing that this fast through a computer that he finds at his local gas station? Like, that doesn't make sense. That's not how that works, okay? Jesus Christ. Like I said, and then he, like, kills Carnage at the end. And it sucks, because I really wanted to see Woody Harrelson more. I thought I was going to see him in, like, the third movie or something. But no, they kill him off in this movie. They kill off not only Cletus, they kill off Carnage. And it pissed me off. You're never going to get Toxin. You're never going to get, you know, all these characters that you're never going to get that. You're never going to get that. And by the way, Toxin is like a spawn from, like, Carnage, who ends up kind of becoming more of a good guy or whatever in the comic books. You're never going to get that. You're never going to get that. And then the movie finally ends, and then you get a post-credit scene. And then you fucking see Tom Holland's Spider-Man on the news. And my God, I was like... I saw that through a leak, by the way. Like, I saw that before I actually saw the movie. I think, like, maybe the day before. And I was just like, man, fuck off. Fine, you can have them. But I want you to understand this, people who saw these movies and think that they're good. As a comic book fan, I need you to understand this. At this point in time, if we're going off of the logic in my head... At this point, Venom is stronger than Spider-Man. And he never even touched Spider-Man. He never bonded to Spider-Man. He never even got any of his special abilities and powers. Tom's gonna die. Tom is gonna die. Like, that's what's gonna happen. Like, Tom's gonna get his head bitten off. But again, this movie was a mess. This was a clear slap in the face to comic book readers like myself. I am fully convinced that they did this on purpose. I'm fully convinced that they wanted to piss me off because, again, they start off with explaining Cletus' story, and they obviously read the book because they're literally telling me panels. I'm literally seeing panels in my head. But then you never have Carnage refer to himself as I. You have this really weird fucking fight between Carnage and Cletus. And again, it just kind of falls apart. And then it's not acting, it's none of the characters, Carnage isn't acting like he's supposed to act. Venom only wins because he gets lucky at the end, that Shriek turncoated Carnage. And again, and now we have Tom Holland in the same universe as this Venom. So, I don't know what the fuck Sony's doing. All I know is that, you know what? I really, really hope that fucking Steve Ditko wins that court case. Because apparently the screenwriter for Friday the 13th, he won his court case for Friday the 13th movies. So, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe Steve Ditko and Stanley's family will win. That would be awesome, because I'm really fucking done with Sony. I'm really done with Disney and Marvel. I am sick and tired of their bullshit. I'm done. I'm fucking pissed. But yeah, I'm going to give this movie a 3 out of 10. It was that bad. It was that bad. Holy shit, man. But I don't know. Well, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think if you saw the movie. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Were you somehow in the middle? Let me know in the comments below. Until then, I'm out of here. Up, and away. See you guys.